Hey guys, Akil Mohideen here. Today I want to talk about the HTC One M9 because there's some sort of speculation that was going on around the phone saying that HTC didn't try very hard with the new phone. They just sort of dumped a new camera in and then called it a day. I just wanted to address those and kind of give my thoughts on what I believe actually happened with the phone. So for starters, as you know, HTC One M9 features a new 20 megapixel camera. This is good because it fixes the weaknesses of the old phone in the sense that the old one had that 5 megapixel ultra sharp camera and ultra pixel camera, and it didn't really work that well. People didn't like it not because the pictures were bad, but because they were low megapixel, and most people just look at the megapixel number and determine what's a good camera and what's not a good camera. They don't think about actually what's going on behind the camera. HTC said that the ultra pixel idea was that you could put more light into the photo and get better low light shots because it's easier to put light into larger pixels than put light into smaller pixels because you're dealing with a less fine detail. Whatever that means, whatever they decided, whatever the reasons were for the ultra pixel camera, they stopped doing that, and now they're using an actual 20 megapixel camera in the new phone. So people thought all they did was they have a new camera and then they have the new Snapdragon processor and then 3 gigabytes of RAM, and that's it. And obviously everyone in Android is pretty much using the same processor. They're all using the new Snapdragon processor that's the Samsung phones and everything's using, and 3 gigabytes of RAM, nothing new there. The point is though, the Samsung phone has a 2K display in it. A 2K screen in it, 2K resolution screen in it, and the HTC has a 1920 by 1080 screen still. People thought that was kind of lazy. The whole inertia is sort of going toward this 2K idea. People are all excited about 2K. There's 4K TVs. Samsung's coming out with 8K TVs and blah blah blah. But it's all moving toward this multiple K idea, where HTC decided to lay back instead. And they're not the only company that did this, though. People are getting mad at HTC for doing this, but I remind you, the Apple iPhone 6 now has a 1920 by 1080p screen. Before, they never even had 1080p screen. 1080p screens have been on smartphones for 3 years, and Apple just came out with a 1080p screen this year. So it's not like HTC's behind or anything. They're just choosing to go a different way, like Apple did. But the reason that I think they're choosing to go a different way is because 2K drains a lot more battery life. If you go onto any of your smartphone or your tablet and you go to the battery management, it'll always tell you that your screen is always using the most amount of power on your screen. Most amount of your battery life. The screen is using the most amount of battery life. And on a tablet, it's using 40 to 50%. Anywhere on my Nexus, 40 to 50% of the battery life. And on a smartphone, it's 30 to 40%. So the point is that with 2K, that's going to double it, essentially, meaning that it's going to go from 30% to 60%, right? So it's going to be using double the amount of power for the screen, and the screen's already the biggest battery hog. So using a 2K display would actually decrease the battery life that you would get. And HTC decided that battery life was more important than the screen. And some people, you're either going to be split two sides. You're either going to believe in the screen or you're going to either believe in the battery. And I personally value the battery more. I think that battery is much more important than screen. 1920 by 1080 isn't a bad screen. You don't lose anything by staying at 1080. And the only advantage that 2K brings is that apps that support 2K are going to be shown in 2K. So basically the Samsung software, the homepage and things are going to be in 2K. But if you're watching a YouTube video, that's not going to be 2K. That's going to be 1080p at max. It depends whoever recorded it, whatever they're playing it at, So 1080p isn't that far behind. With 1080p, the move to 1080p from lower level screens was essential because movies and TV and YouTube videos were all being recorded in 1080p. So it didn't make sense to have a 720p screen when everything was able to be viewed in 1080p. But nowadays, nothing is able to be viewed in 2K, No one's actually recording 2K except for, a select amount of YouTubers. And if you want to watch Breaking Bad on Netflix, Well, that's the only show that's in 4K. You know, anything above 1080p, that's Breaking Bad. That's pretty much it. And there's no content yet out there, like not enough content out there that is 2K and beyond. So it doesn't really make sense to sacrifice battery life for 2K when you're not going to be getting that much out of it. That's how I see it. But obviously there's going to be people that disagree, and you guys are going to leave a comment about how you disagree. But I personally believe in the battery life more than the screen real estate, more than the screen resolution, because I feel that, you know, first of all, you can't use your phone if your phone isn't on. And second of all, like, the screen is already very good at 1080p. It's a very nice looking screen. So maybe you don't get to move forward because you don't have 2K, but it's not like you're taking a step back by staying at 1080p. So I think that it was personally a good move with the 1080p screen, and I know that there's controversy about that, but I firmly believe that the battery life is more important than the screen resolution. And I guess that pretty much wraps it up for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.